of a royal. The breaking news that Meghan Markle finally became a mom.
Meghan and myself had a baby boy.
And what the prince has to say about the latest addition to the family. He's the former Navy SEAL and rising Republican star who made Pete Davidson a punchline on SNL. Congressman Dan Crenshaw's making his daytime debut live on The View. And a brand new Oprah edition of View Your Deal. Hot Topics are in the house with Whoopi, Abby Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
Start off by congratulating Duchess Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, who welcomed a 7-pound, 3-ounce baby boy to their family just a few hours ago. And here's what Harry had to say about it.
Meghan and myself had a baby boy early this morning, a very healthy boy. Mother and baby are doing incredibly well. It's been the most amazing experience I could ever possibly imagine.
He's adorable. And you know him well, right, Whoopi?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks so excited.
Well, yeah, he's got a new baby. He's got an old lady that he likes. And life is good.
Such a genuine response.
His grandma's okay with it?
Well,
The queen.
The queen actually likes her, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, but I just think, this is their first, and there might be others, and one of those babies is going to pop out looking like me.
I hope so.
And that will be something to crow
That will
about.
be interesting.
Either way, that's going to be one cute baby.
Yes,
I'll tell you
yes.
what. And he said what every dad, soon to be dad, should say about a delivery.
Which is?
Which is what he just said. It's like, what an incredible experience. It's like something you can't even put into words because it's until you go through it, you just don't even know the feeling you're going to have.
I went through it. I never want to see it again.
I did it once. I said, that's
me too.
it. That's
me
it.
too.
You guys are not helping me.
But we also want to congratulate the winners of last night's Daytime Emmy Awards. Ellen won for Outstanding Entertainment Talk Show. Kelly and Ryan won Outstanding Entertainment Talk Show Host. Rachel Ray won for Informative Talk Show. And Kathy Lee and Hoda won for Informative Host.
Whatever. Okay.
So let's get to business. Joe Biden was at a fundraiser this week and said he doesn't want to get in a mud wrestling match like who wants him to, but admits that he has so many nicknames he could give the guy, starting with Clown and maybe SOB, He says that he feels that they're going to go after his family on the campaign trail. And is he going to be able to avoid mudslinging here? And should he? And
I mean, if he goes after his family, Trump's family, he's got Hans and Fritz over there who make who are ridiculous every day. I mean, that's easy to go after those two. They're involved.
I hope he doesn't, though.
Also, I take exception to the insult against clowns. Clowns are people.
Yes.
He says he's a clown. A clown is a person. We're clowns.
Yeah.
We're
Brings
clowns.
you joy.
Brings you joy. Brings you happiness. Makes you laugh. Some people are scared of them. I do admit that.
Yeah.
But
and us.
yeah.
Yeah.
People are scared of us, too. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. But we have to tell Joe, don't call him a clown anymore.
But you know what? If he does feel like he has to get down in the mud and dirty with Trump, what does it say about us? What does it say about society right now that this is what needs to be done to win for the presidency? I hope he doesn't, because so far his campaign has been about sewing this country back together, civility, finding what makes us so good as a country.
You don't want to get into this mud record with Joe.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it because he's a scrapper. And I don't think he's going to back up. I think he'll come right for he He said would fight him the last time.
Oh, he
Said
will go Wilmington, Delaware on his ass so quick, and I for one look forward to it.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm ready for a fight here. Honestly, I'm ready for someone to counter-punch in a way that will be effective.
Me too. I agree.
And I mean it sincerely. And I think he will be classy, because Joe is a classy guy.
Yeah.
But I also think, you're in the arena, you're the front runner, and I was watching all the Sunday shows and watching all the pundits sort of begrudgingly come to terms with the fact that he is the front runner, and that already looks like it's a boxing match between him and Trump. I, for one, look forward to the fight all day, every day, and I can't believe we're coming up on less than a year till the New Hampshire primary. It's going to be
crazy.
incredible.
You know what? His base, Trump's base, likes it when he makes up all these names.
Yes.
Cook and Hillary, and yeah. They go to those MAGA rallies and they love them. Well, his base, Joe Biden's base, I'm one of them. I like it too. On that side, go right back at him. I'm a street fighter. I'm from Brooklyn. Go right at him. Let's see it.
I don't agree with that in a sense. I don't agree with that. I'm with Abby on it. I mean, look, I'm from the Bronx Projects. I'm a fighter like anybody else, and people know that. But I got some Bronxites here. But I think that there is something to keeping it classy. I think that you can debate on policy. I think that you can debate on the issues. I don't think you need to get down in the mud.
Not only that, Sunny, sometimes it takes an even stronger person to not get down in the mud.
It takes the strongest person to be able to do
Wait a second.
Yes.
You are dealing here with the most shameless person that has ever been in that office. And his enablers are shameless.
Why are you and I in total agreement on this? I'm like, you gotta play dirty, get dirty. It's a dirty game. Politics is not the place you go when you want to feel soft and warm, especially in the Trump administration.
I think Obama did it right. I think Obama did it with complete class.
But I also think it's let me finish. It is a paradigm shift, Trump being elected, a paradigm shift in every conceivable way in American politics. So to put the old standard of Obama, you want to run like Obama, you're going to get Trump again. Hands down.
Here's the thing. Nobody's running. Obama didn't run. Nobody ran. Okay? Nobody ran. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Yeah. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means.
It's a movie quote that people of a certain age got.
Okay.
And they understood it. It is a difference in how we do things.
Yeah.
Your dad and Obama never got into this kind of crap. No. This is not how they ran. This is not how people do it. So now we have a guy who wants to fight, who's trying to fight a guy who can fight and probably win. Who's trying not to do it because he's trying to keep his eyes on the prize.
Yes.
You can't unring the Trump bell. And I'm sorry, if he'll fight with a dead war hero, he'll certainly fight with him and his family.
That's true.
And I think you need to live in reality about who your opponent is.
Okay, I understand that, and this is what I'm saying about it. I agree, but Joe is not that guy. He's not that guy straight up. That's why he was gentler when he came out with the video. Yeah. I don't think that he will do that unless he is forced to do it, because it's not him. He doesn't want to do it.
Also, does this country really want more of that?
No.
I feel like now more than ever, people are aching for stability. People are aching for...
And I'm out here with my thumb in my butt going, hey, we're going to break.
Later, Madonna at 60. How she claims she's being punished for getting older, and how social media almost ended her relationship with her children. Still ahead, Republican Congressman and former Navy SEAL Dan Crenshaw on taking the high road on SNL after a low blow from Pete Davidson, and an Oprah edition of View Your Deal.
Hey, welcome back. So you know whose former fixer Michael Cohen is headed to prison this week as we speak to start his 3-year sentence for bank fraud, tax evasion, campaign finance violations, and lying to Congress. Damn.
Yeah.
He'll be serving at the same prison as Mike the Situation Sorrentino and Fry Festival founder Billy McFarland. He says he can't wait to get out and tell his story. What else is there to tell?
I don't know. He's got some more information. But, you know, there's something ironic about the fact that Trump, it was at Trump's behest that all these things happened to Michael Cohen. I'm not defending him. He committed the crimes. But Trump is making Google eyes at Putin while this guy's going into a reality show with the situation in some prison somewhere.
Can you imagine?
It seems unfair in some way.
Yes. Imagine just putting a camera in this prison.
Yeah.
This would be the best watched, I would watch it, reality show with the other guy, the Fire Festival guy, Billy McFarland. Unbelievable.
He's there for 10 years, I think.
And the situation was also in there for tax fraud or tax evasion.
8 months, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he did plead guilty to, I think, 5 counts of tax evasion. So Michael Cohen...
Which is not Trump related.
Not Trump related. Right. So he did do some, he committed some crime. But I do think it's fascinating that we saw him testify in front of Congress and bring those receipts, right? He had the checks of the Donald Trump Jr. signed, the Donald Trump signed, paying him back for the hush money. And yet he's going to jail.
Well, the president, when he gets out of office, he could go to jail. That's why he's going to fight tooth and nail to win.
Yeah.
And we have to fight back.
I think that's
Michael
a possibility.
Cohen said, "Why am I the one going to jail? I didn't sleep with a porn star and pay off a porn star."
What?
He said, "Why am I the one going to jail? I didn't sleep with a porn star."
Oh,
or
6 years.
Or
Wasn't he hoping to get pardoned
star.
at one point, Michael Cohen?
I think he hoped that his cooperation would lead to a lesser sentence.
But now that he has more information, he claims maybe he'll negotiate from prison to get out earlier.
I don't think it's going to take, because a lot of folks have gone to prison. A lot of people seem to be doing time.
Yeah.
And I wonder, how is it that everybody around seems to be going to heaven and not?
Because the president is above the law,
because of the
apparently.
Department of Justice policy that you can't really indict a sitting president.
And you have the Attorney General is the one who's committing these lies now. So when the chief law enforcer is also committing crimes, who is supposed to indict the chief law enforcer? It's like when the cops are crooked, there's nobody left. It's really scary.
Michael Cohen's no angel. I mean, I remember he had been on cable news during the election, and I think it was Kate Bolduan or someone from CNN said, what polls are you believing? And she said, all of them. You have to believe polls. And he was like very nasty to journalists and very sort of, he was like the ultimate fixer for President Trump. So I do think that the idea that he didn't know what he was doing. He was Trump's henchman for a really long time.
He knows what he had to have known.
And isn't that why people hire lawyers, so it can be sort of that person in between the crimes that are possibly being committed? And so it's the lawyer that then gets in trouble, not the person.
Well, no, you don't hire a lawyer so the lawyer can commit crimes on your behalf.
No, I'm just saying in Trump's
I don't think
case,
that's what she said.
that's not what I'm saying. Just to
She's
be clear,
not stupid. That's not what she said.
No, I'm just saying.
No one's calling anyone
oftentimes,
stupid at this table.
if you are wanting to get away with things and you want sort of that barrier of protection, and you have that second man or that second person doing it for you.
Let's not forget that I've said this before, but Al Capone, who was a murderer, went to jail for tax evasion, and we're looking at Trump's tax returns pretty soon. So let's see how much evasion he's responsible for.
That is what got.
And on that note, we'll be back.
Right.
Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw gives his political view on getting the last word on SNL and his war of words with Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Next.
Congressman and former Navy SEAL Dan Crenshaw became a Republican to watch when he won a midterm election that was a nail-biter, but he gained nationwide attention when SNL's Pete Davidson did an offensive bit at his expense. But the congressman proved not only can he take a joke, he can flip the script. Take a look.
And if any good came of this, maybe it was that for one day, the left and the right finally came together to agree on something. That I'm a...
You think?
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate you saying that.
So we good?
We're good. Apology accepted.
Just keep breathing.
Sounds like my phone's ringing.
Please welcome Congressman Dan Crenshaw. Congressman, thank you so much for coming to the show. We've been trying to get you on for a long time. Thank you for showing that Republicans have a sense of humor. You said in that SNL sketch, when you meet a veteran, you should tell them never forget. So first and foremost, I want to start by saying never forget to you, because before joining Congress, you deployed 5 times overseas as a Navy SEAL. During your 3rd deployment in Afghanistan in 2012, you lost your right eye in an IED blast. And despite your injuries, you deployed 2 more times overseas. I just want to know what gave you the strength. Yeah, pretty amazing. What gave you the strength to keep fighting and wanting to go back after all that?
First of all, I want to say it's great to be here on The View. It's pretty cool. I'm a little nervous. This is kind of a big deal.
What are you nervous about? Being surrounded by women
You're a Navy SEAL.
mouth.
We're nervous in your presence.
So, speaking of strong women, my mom died of cancer when I was 10. And, you know, I watched her go through that, the battle with breast cancer for 5 years. She never complained. She never asked anybody to feel sorry for her. She just took care of us. And shortly after that, I read a really cool book about the Navy SEALs, and I was hooked on that dream forever. And that's what I did. And so, you know, you learn a lot of phrases in the SEAL teams. One of those is adapt and overcome. And that's what this was. I mean, I lost an eye. I was almost blinded in this eye. But there was never really another option except to try and get back with the guys, get back in the platoon. And so I was able to deploy a couple more times, not exactly back in combat, but still serve. And eventually by 2016, I wasn't able to anymore. I couldn't get any more medical waivers or considerations for that, and I had to be medically retired.
Well, so now you're serving the country in a new capacity as a freshman congressman. Is that something also you wanted to do?
It wasn't always something I wanted. You know, like I said, when I was hurt, you know, when my wife was there by my side that whole time, and we were really just looking for ways to stay in the Navy. It was the life we loved. It was the people we loved. It was the community we loved. When we couldn't do that anymore, I was looking for another way to serve. It wasn't quite clear that politics was that, but we thought about it, we prayed on it, and we came to the realization that if you want to have an impact on a whole variety of issues, not just one policy issue, but a whole variety of things, and move the conversation forward, it has to be in elected politics. And my hometown congressman, Ted Poe, announced retirement, and asked my wife if we should do this, and she said, yep, didn't even think about it. She just said, let's go for it. And so we did, and we won.
And you've really been making a name for yourself ever since. I loved the end of the SNL sketch where you called for goodness in this country. You called for forgiveness, a message that I think so many people are wanting to hear right now. I wonder, in a position like yours where you support the president and you don't agree with everything, but support a lot of the policies, how you grapple with having your character and reading his tweets and seeing how he can't apologize for things. He can't accept when he's wrong. How do you grapple with just that character? How do you support a guy when you're so different?
Well, I support his policy agenda. I don't have to support every character flaw that he has. You know, we can have multiple ideas in our head at the same time, right? And I don't have to try and defend his character flaws, because they are. They don't, and it does make the call for civility more difficult. And I set a baseline after the SNL thing. What I wrote in the Washington Post was, just don't insult each other, right? You know, attack ideas, and let's go after those ideas wholeheartedly. I know I do, but you don't have to insult, and you don't have to make disingenuous attempts to undermine character.
The president's not listening to you, though.
Nobody is. I'm not sure anybody is these days. No. You know, I'm not going to pretend that it's gotten better, but if we can all be part of the solution, I think, and again, that's a low bar. Just don't insult each other. But you know, you look at any member of Congress's Twitter feed. All it is insults.
It's not just that, though, with him. It isn't just that. Let's talk about, you know, the fact that he met with Putin for 90 minutes this week or last week, and never once brought up the fact that Russia interfered in our election, and he never brought it up. How is it that the Republican Party, your colleagues, can stand by this man when he is involved in this way with Russia? I mean, you know, I've said last week that I don't want to see any of those flag pins anymore on Republicans who don't stand up against this guy for Russian meddling and other things that he's done. It seems as though he's unpatriotic. What do you say to that?
I think we're overstating it. I mean, first of all, that meeting was regarding Venezuela. Now, I will give you this: the president has a bad habit of repeating what Putin says to the public, and he shouldn't do that. But he also has a pretty good habit of taking actions and putting in policies in place that are vehemently counter Russia. Just off the top of my head, as I'm thinking about it, let's think about these. Okay, so putting lethal aid in Ukraine, actually killing Russian militants in Syria, bombing Syria chemical weapons, where I saw this is Russia's ally. Pressuring the Europeans to spend more on their defense, to use our natural gas instead of Russian natural gas. None of these things are good for Russia. All right? And then let's look at what this president has done.
He's playing Putin? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying his action.
Protect our democracy here, our election.
I'm going to get to that in a second. So on the cyber defense side, this is an extremely important part, and it's bipartisan in nature. This administration has put way more funding into our cybersecurity defenses, as well as working for the first time, working with all 50 states and their election teams to make sure that there are best practices involved, to make sure that there's proper information sharing, to make sure that we actually are protecting our election. This is all new.
So you're saying the policy doesn't always match the rhetoric?
That is true sometimes.
It's really happening. He's just not telling us it's happening.
It should. And also, well, he just signed an executive order this last week that increases the ability for us to hire more of a cyber workforce. This is huge, all right, because that's exactly what we need in the government.
So we should just ignore all the dumb things he says?
No, you should take it into context. You should definitely criticize away when you don't like what he says.
We do.
But we got to put everything in context as far as like what really is our strategy and what are the policies we're actually putting in place.
All right, hold on right there. We're going to talk more. We'll be right back with Congressman Dan Crenshaw.
We're back with Congressman Dan Crenshaw. Now, Congressman, you've been very supportive of Trump's immigration policies, including a border wall. And now Trump wants to force asylum seekers to pay a fee. And you've spent part of your childhood in Ecuador and Colombia. Hablas español, ¿sí?
Sí, claro.
Sí. And you understand then the kind of dire circumstances that these migrants are fleeing. I don't understand why you would support this kind of idea.
Well, so when I was growing up there, I had to have a visa. And that visa had to be renewed every so often. And if it wasn't, then I was illegally there. So what I'm getting at is every country has the right to own its own sovereignty. Every country has the right to manage who comes in and out of its borders. And right now, it feels as though the United States does not have that right. We had 103,000 people illegally crossing our border. That was just in March. Okay, and it's on track to be even more than that this month. And by the way, Border Patrol thinks they only catch 1 in 3. So you can actually triple that number. So we have no effective control over our borders right now. And on the fee part, what we should also note is that actually those illegal immigrants are already paying a fee. They pay a fee to the Mexican drug cartels. They have to. Mexican drug cartels have complete operational control of our southern border. So they pay a few $100s
Aren't you
just to walk across.
bunching everyone together when you're talking about undocumented immigrants? I mean, many of these people are seeking asylum. What happened to our country's promise of give me your tired, your weak, and your poor? People that are truly coming here to seek a better life.
But as it turns out, about 80–90% of those don't have a valid asylum claim once we actually get their documentation. Because what they've learned over the years is that they need only to raise their hand and say they're claiming asylum and that they need a child with them. So our laws that are based on good intentions are actually incentivizing child trafficking. There was a woman who came into my office just the other day.
Well, what you're saying actually has been debunked. If you look at if you look at Latino justice, if you look at a lot of the research that has been done.
Department of Homeland Security, and these are the numbers that are coming out. The vast majority
Department of Homeland Security.
Well, okay,
with Kirsten Nielsen.
But why? Explain why those are false then.
Well, a lot of them are false. I mean, if you look at it,
you're just saying they're false. You're not providing evidence.
Well, the cases didn't involve human trafficking, actually, and the cases mostly involved false documents where a child's other relatives identified themselves as the parent or tried to pass as minors themselves. So when you're talking about these cases as of March, only 1% of the 31,000 that you're referencing who had illegally crossed during those 5 months actually were not related in some way.
Now you've gone on to a different subject about children with adults. Okay, so
I thought that's what you had just said.
No, what I was saying is no matter what, they're taking advantage of the asylum process. There is another problem, which you're referencing, of children being brought across with adults who are not their parents. That is a problem. I was on the border for 1 day in the Rio Grande Valley. They had 14 kids that were identified as being with adults who are not their parents. This incentivizes child trafficking. Well, what if it is? I mean, it doesn't. It incentivizes human trafficking, and the Border Patrol actually see the same kids come across over and over again.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just curious, do you think this has been exacerbated by the guy in the White House? Because I have to tell you, we've always known that there were people who were trying to find asylum. Now, some people can do it, and no one ever knows that they don't have their visas. Mm-hmm. And some people do it, and they do it the right way. But haven't we sort of set ourselves up for this? Because it seems to me, when you start the conversation by these people are, you sort of set a precedent. And for me, if you're worried about the border, then you have to really sort of take a look at what we can do instead of making it about them and us.
Well, here's what we do. We actually close the loopholes that we have. We make sure that people with valid asylum claims can be processed quickly. We need more immigration judges at the points of entry. We need more detention facilities and bigger processing centers so we can hold them, adjudicate their case. If it's found not to have a valid case, they're sent back immediately. And if they found to have a valid case, they're coming in. I think if you do that, you send a message that says you're no more catch and release. Because right now we have catch and release, where they come in and they're just released and they say, hey, please come back at a later date, and they never do. So this is a real problem.
One of the things that Trump said recently is that he wants to cut aid to these countries, Nicaragua and the rest of them, coming in. Isn't that a more effective way to deal with immigration, by helping these countries rather than building a wall?
Yeah, I think it's part of the solution. It's got to be holistic. So there's been a...
Do you disagree with Trump?
Well, there's a misnomer that we've always been trying to build a giant wall and then clean our hands of it. That's never been the case. That's never been the plan. More immigration judges has always been part of the plan. That's actually just in the recent proposal. Walls where that makes sense has always been part of the plan. I think we do need a development story or a development plan in these countries. Listen, humanitarian aid didn't help them before, and taking it away isn't going to change the process now. I wouldn't necessarily take it away. Trump is using that as a negotiation strategy to try and get them to take some kind of control over what's happening, and we'll see if that occurs or not.
Congressman, we have to go to a break, but you are going to stay here for one more segment. You're a trooper. Thank you. We'll be right back with Congressman Dan Crenshaw.
Tomorrow, Hot Topics are getting a jolt of Morning Joe when Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski hit the table. Plus, Grammy and Oscar-winning musician, actor, and activist Common opens up about his painful childhood trauma and learning to let love have the last word.
We're back with Congressman Dan Crenshaw. Congressman, like me, you have been a vocal critic of Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's perceived anti-Semitic comments about Israel, and for saying, quote, some people did something on 9/11. She has since apologized for these comments, but she seems to keep making these kind of statements. Why do you think Democrats have been so reluctant to call her out?
Well, I think, unfortunately, we're playing a team sport these days. All right, and we just had a long discussion about how Republicans feel about Trump, and I think you're seeing the same issues play out on the Democrat side with somebody on their own team, and they're not sure how to handle it, even though they might behind closed doors disagree with what she's saying.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that, you know, she's a new congresswoman, and on the right, what we have is the president of the United States in Charlottesville saying that there are good people on both sides, which and people are yelling, Jews will not replace us. They're not good people on both sides.
In that same sentence, when he said that, he also said, I am definitely not referring to white nationalists.
Why do you apologize for him?
I'm not apologizing. You have to read what he actually said.
I listened to exactly what he said.
It wasn't in the same sentence. It was actually in a statement 2 days later.
No, it wasn't. So you agreed. No, it wasn't.
But I will say that I don't think it matters. I think bigotry and any kind of statements like that should be called out. I know you and I are on the same page. Today you and I are on it. So I think it should be called out at any level.
But some would say that her comments were taken out of context because she said something else.
Some people did something on 9/11
unless she's referring to another event besides 9/11, I don't see how it was taken out of context. I think what people are trying to say was, well, she was explaining a broader point. Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
I have no problem with her broader point.
Muslims
but
were
within
their
that
civil
point, what
rights
she
were being
referred to
taken
9/11
away.
as was some people did something. Unless you're referring to a different event, and I don't think she was, then it clearly was not taken out of context. I don't think she's apologized.
Why do we didn't
Bush also say these people that took these buildings down, and no one sort of objected to it being framed in that way. But it seems like when Ilhan Omar says anything,
it was dismissive in tone, in gesture, and in words. It was dismissive.
Yeah, I want to point something out, because this is a conversation I've been part of with you all. You know, one of the things that we've never had before is a Muslim congresswoman.
Yes.
And so her feelings about Israel may not be the same as ours. And so we have to listen so we understand why people feel the way they feel. This is this is the United States as we say, yes, I know hard rap. This is the United States as we say we want it, and I can't finish.
I mean, here's what I would say about that. Yes, everybody has the right to say how they feel about Israeli foreign policy.
I'm sorry, we have a heart out. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I feel really bad about this. Our thanks to Congressman Dan Crenshaw. We'll be right back.
Oprah's upgrading your Monday on View Your Deal. We partnered with vendors for at least half off her latest batch of favorite things. Next.
The week then with an Oprah edition of View Your Deal. We partner with vendors for at least half off her latest picks, and O Magazine creative director Adam Glassman's here to show them off, but it's only while supplies last. So what do we do?
Let's go shopping.
Let's go shopping!
Okay, we're going to start off with what you're wearing from Barefoot Dreams. This is everyone's go-to piece for spring, summer. How soft is this? It's
so
amazing.
soft.
Sleeveless vest.
Yes.
Comes in great colors. Super soft.
Love it.
Size from extra small to XL.
Love it.
Perfect layering piece over a t-shirt, over a white shirt. It has pockets. It's really soft. It will be a great travel piece. This will update your wardrobe.
Yes.
The price normally is $108. Today the deal is $54. We are saving 50% on Barefoot Dreams. Okay, from tomorrow's studio, the first time on The View, it's the most ingenious bag. Let me show you this. It's a clutch, but it's a 3-in-1. It also becomes a top handle bag.
Oh.
And it also becomes a crossbody bag.
Oh.
So you can wear that across your body. How genius is this? All leather, 9 different options in metallic, in solids, neutrals. We even have an animal print. It's lined in fabric. This, if you're going to buy one bag this summer, this should be it. Absolutely. The price normally is $125. Today it's going to be $58.
Oh,
you are saving 53%.
I lied.
Yes. Now we're traveling in style from Brooke & Co. Again, first time, brand new collection from them. Look at these gorgeous colors. Vegan leather and real leather. Travelers, weekenders, backpacks, dop kits, lightweight. The attention to detail is amazing, I know. You can carry this. I would also think ahead to Father's Day. These are great Father's Day gifts. They're also great graduates gifts. So, dads and grads, this is a perfect gift for you. Prices normally range from $40 to $600 for the real leather, but today the deal is $15 to $160. So you are saving up to 75%.
That is really good.
Yes.
I like the vegan leather, actually.
I know. Now we have really great everyday jewelry from Sterling Forever. This is the kind of stuff that you need in your wardrobe. Great hoops, great bracelets, rings, necklaces. You layer it on. You know, the dainty jewelry trend is really hot.
Yes.
You're doing it right now, layering. Look at this layering right here.
Yes.
It's not going to, break the bank when you buy this stuff at all. Great to travel with because you don't want to travel with flashy jewelry. The prices are, as we say at amazing.
Amazing.
Yes. Normally they are from $52 to $114. Today the deal is $15 to $25. You are saving up to 80% on this. It's good. And now that you have your jewelry, you need something really beautiful to store it in. Wolf Accessories I brought back. They make the best stuff. So this is their travel case, which is really gorgeous, really great craftsmanship, all leather.
I have this. It's
This is really good. They also have larger ones that you keep on your chest of drawers. A variety of different shapes, a variety of different colors. Leather is a perfect jewelry case. Prices range from $69 to $885. The deal today will be $22 to $249 plus shipping. It's a savings up to 81%. Now, finally, this is amazing. Simple sarongs. Summer is coming up. Beach season is coming up. This is a giant beach towel in terry. Great patterns, great prints. However, the mystery or the secret behind it, it has these 2 buttons, and it also has these buttonholes. So you put it on, and you just are secure when you wrap it around your waist. It's the perfect cover-up.
So
to go from the pool to cocktails.
It's like all cute.
Because normally
and
you take a towel and it's falling off, and you're running after your kids and the whole thing. It's great. The prices are $48.54 normally. Today they're going to be $24 to $27. You're saving 50%. It's genius.
Genius.
Yeah.
Our thanks to Adam Glassman. The clock is ticking, people. You have 24 hours to grab any of these exclusive deals at viewyourdeal.com. And guess what? Members of the audience are going home with gifts from Sterling Forever, Barefoot Dreams, and, of course, a copy of Vogue magazine. Have a great day, everyone.